It's interesting. I think there are several things that I see experienced trial lawyers do over and over again that I'm always sort of surprised about. The first one is, of course, that they don't tell a story. They forget to tell a story. They go from outlines, or they go back to Law School 101, and they forget that they need to find out what the human elements are. I do a lot of patent infringement work, a lot of intellectual property work, a lot of very complex work that's highly technical. And yet there's always a human story in those cases. And it's very important that trial counsel find those elements and build a story around that. If you can't tell somebody in 5 sentences what your case is about, you don't know. And I think that's the primary thing that I see lawyers do wrong, is you ask them what the case is about, and then they sort of launch off into a lengthy explanation about all kinds of elements and claim language and all sorts of things like that. And that's not what the story's about. The story's about somebody stole something, somebody took something, somebody did something wrong, somebody was trying to retrade the deal in the courtroom, something that they couldn't get in the marketplace, that kind of thing. And so the story is really important. The other thing that I see very experienced lawyers do in voir dire or voir dire, depending on where you are. I'm from Texas, and so we say voir dire. Down there, is they cross-examine jurors. They cross-examine jurors. You would agree with me, wouldn't you, that X, Y, Z? And who wants to feel that way? I watch jurors squirm in their seats as very experienced trial lawyers think that what's most important is for them to sell their case and sell their themes to a jury in jury selection, and I just don't think anything could be further from the truth. It's the only time to hear from them, and I think it's very important to use that time to ask them questions. Things like, what makes you good at your job? What makes you a good parent? What is the one value, other than honesty and any faith that you may practice, that your parents taught you? What's the one value, other than honesty and any faith, that you may practice that you are teaching your children? Those are very highly instructive questions. And it's very difficult for lawyers to ask those kind of questions. I know why it's difficult. It's difficult because they don't necessarily know the answers. Lawyers are trained from an early time in their careers not to ask questions they don't know the answers to. So I think it's really a comfort level. But I found over time that once lawyers get more comfortable asking those questions and they see the wonderful information that those questions can give them, they become a lot more comfortable with asking them. I'd say those are the two biggest mistakes, is not telling a story and preaching to the jurors in jury selection.